was that first blood, and it was Deontay Wilder who landed a perfect counter right to floor Luis Ortiz. But to Ortiz's credit, he ate the punch, the damage, and he got back up. And now we were going to see whether this chess match was going to turn into a fight.
Ya, un descuido, un mal paso. El boxeo hay que pensar en fracciones de segundo. Eso sucedió.
Ortiz.
So I did a video yesterday on the Chris Mannix podcast where he was talking about, let's dive right into it, right? We bullshitted around enough, and we bullshitted around enough earlier today, so let's dive right into things. I definitely need to put this link right down below here. If you want to listen to it on your own time, let's do the man justice. Let's do the man justice. That's the podcast. This is what we're going to talk about. We got some timestamps for you and some very important. Okay, I tell you what. We knew this was coming, and it was talked about like it's about 5 years. It's about 5 years or so in the making. These PBC titles. So we're going to dive deep into it. I'm talking about we're going to deep dive into the politics, right? All right, let's go. Follow me.
This is the Sports Illustrated Boxing Podcast. It's boxing. A look inside boxing with Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix. Interviews, analysis, and everything going on in boxing. And now a man who I wish was called the Boston Bleeder.
All doctors to the ER.
It's sort of like getting punched in the face.
Chris Mannix.
All right, well, welcome.
Okay, so obviously we're not going to listen to his whole shit, right? We're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is, we got some timestamps here. Basically, the important things that I gathered from this is that Wilder Fury 2 may be signed by the fighters, but all that shit about ESPN and Fox working together, that shit is not guaranteed yet. When it comes to Showtime, it is true that Fox is number one and Showtime gets the crumbs. When it comes to the PBC belts, they're definitely trying to make Wilder versus Ruiz. Of course, if Wilder beats Luis Ortiz next week, or if obviously Andy Ruiz got to beat Anthony Joshua. So let's dive right into things. Let's see here. The guy that he's interviewing, his name is Bill Wanger. My dog is snoring. Bro, you got to wake up. Yo. Anyway, he's the executive vice president, head of programming and scheduling at Fox Sports, basically. He's the guy that's in charge of all the marketing shit that goes on for PBC on Fox. Like if you see like Gervonta Davis at a Baltimore Ravens game, he's got something to do with that. If you see like all the commercials for PBC on Fox, you know, during games and everywhere, he's got something to do with that. Like it's his shit. He's the Steven Espinosa of Fox Sports, basically. So let's delve in. Listen in.
The 154s, the 168s. So that was the number one draw. Working with Al, we built a really good relationship with him. That was another draw. And I also think it was the right time in boxing in terms of the there was a great crop of boxers kind of coming into their own. Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, Caleb Plant, and we felt that we could grow these personalities and boxers into stars.
Do you feel like you've done that or are headed in that direction? Caleb Plant's a good example. I think a lot of people were alerted to his story because of what how you promoted him.
Yeah, Caleb, his first fight was on FS1 in January of 2019. He's been on Fox Broadcasting a number of times. And he will be again in 2020. It's somebody that we can invest in and grow and tell his story.
Basically, I'm trying to get you to understand this guy's thought process. And in my mind, I don't think they, grasp the whole pay-per-view concept and where pay-per-view is right now and all that shit.
Fights are on Fox and FS. One of the reasons why the PBC wanted to be partners with us.
When DAZN came onto the scene right around the same time as you kind of inked that deal with PBC, one of their mottos, if you will, was pay-per-view is screwed. Like their whole thing was pay-per-view is done. This is going to be the new model. You guys have kind of turn that around. And it just seems like pay-per-view is something you're heavily invested in doing for the most significant fights. Why have you chosen kind of to go that route with pay-per-view?
Well, we just think it's a great opportunity to, reach directly to the fan base. It's also important to remember that, we're only doing about 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year. The vast majority of our fights are on Fox and FS1. We'll have 10 fights a year on Fox, about 12 fights a year on FS1, and as I said, 4 to 5 on pay-per-view. We just felt it was a great way to reach the audience, much more so than you can do on a direct-to-consumer platform like a DAZN or an ESPN Plus at this point. So, and for a while in the 2013 to 2016, there wasn't a lot of pay-per-view happening, and we felt we could bring it back with some of these top fighters.
Do you do put a lot of fights, obviously, on Fox and FS1. The top fights, though, continue to go over to pay-per-view. I mean, how do you envision that kind of balance working moving forward? Do you see, Fox having a, Spence Porter type of fight, Wilder Ortiz type of fight on main Fox in the future?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think the biggest names, the Wilders and the Spences and the Pacquiaos, for the most part, I think right now will be on pay-per-view, but we could take, for example, an Errol Spence fight and put it on Fox.
Notice what they said. Now, what did he say? 12 PBC on FS1 fights, right? 10 PBC on Fox fights, 4 to 5 pay-per-views per year. He's saying only 4 to 5 pay-per-views per year. We got to jump, forward a bit. And I want you, and then we're going to, I want you to hear what he's saying, and we're going to assess it,
Who's going to get what and where it's going to go?
Yes.
This is coming now. This is some important shit right here, especially in regards to where Showtime is in boxing right now. It's not a bidding war. Fox gets the best fights. So listen in. Let's see. What was it at? Where here?
Do that with Showtime in the mix.
Baseball and college football.
How does it work? I think a lot of people are curious how the relationship with Al and with Fox works when it comes to putting fights on the air. I guess is there what's the process that it has to go through?
Well, Al and his team, they're the matchmakers. We definitely give some input. What I find myself talking to Al about all the time is the path of the fighters. Okay, Deontay Wilder, what's his path for the next year? And that helps us in terms of planning where to schedule these events.
How do you do that with Showtime in the mix? I mean, as you know, that's a shared relationship, or at least nominally there was supposed to be. How do you navigate that?
Well, quite frankly, we're in the premier position with the PBC, but we view Showtime as a partner with the PBC. But at the end of the day, the biggest fights will be with Fox.
It's a very unconvincing partner line right there. Do you see them do you really see them as a partner in all this?
Yeah, I mean, we promote each other's fights. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a conversation with Al, with PBC, about, who's going to get what and where it's going to go?
Yes, often.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot. We talk a lot of long-term and strategy and who's going to have what. And our deal with the PBC is to be in the premier position and have the premier package. And so a lot of, who gets what between Fox and Showtime is kind of taken care of in the contractual process. So
you have a pretty clear idea now what fighters you're going to be able to work with in 2020.
Yeah, and it's not so much, this fighter is a Fox fighter and this fighter is a Showtime fighter. It's this fight would be on a Fox platform, or this fight would be on a Showtime platform.
Do you have any trepidation there about not having guys under sort of Fox contracts? I mean, it's sort of the Al Heyman model. It hasn't always been the boxing model. HBO often had guys signed to contracts, Showtime for a long
So basically, Fox gets the big fights. Showtime gets what's left. You know, if Fox can't fit it into their schedule or budget, they say, all right, you can put that on Fox. I mean, you can put that on Showtime. So also, you know, the way he said, like, you know, he talks to Al often about the path of the fighters. You know what that means? Like, okay, well, what's the path of who is he going to fight? You know, like the path right now for Errol Spence. By the way, he did talk about Errol Spence as well. That's on the, for those who don't know, that is the Chris Mannix podcast. I'll put the link right down there for those who want to watch it. We have some good shit on there. You know, it's a lot of money to be a PBC fan, and in an age where it's easy to stream fights, you know, it's tough. Exactly. What the fuck path is Leo Ceja Cruz on? But see, what it is they be baby. Like, you got to think, these people are casuals. They're casual as fuck. You think this guy, this Bill Wanger guy, you know, sounds like a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I know they got a plan to try to make boxing bigger. Their goal is to make boxing big so they can make money and everything. So, you know, but you think this guy was like watching boxing and watching boxing? Like, he's in control of all the fucking Fox Sports fucking head of scheduling, programming, and shit. So when I see fights like Caleb Plant versus Alfredo Angulo, it's like, what the fuck? But guess what? That's very Al Heyman-ish. Al Heyman been rolling like that. I was naive to think that, oh, well, he got this new deal. He ain't going to be giving this motherfucking Iris Law versus Ramon Alvarez. Even though it was supposed to be Peter Quillen versus Caleb Truax too, but still. Like, yo, they constantly, boxing constantly, like, underestimates the hardcore fan. And they keep trying to appease these casuals with like, yo, the shit don't be working, man. You know? But yeah. They've been trying to do a UFC model. They've been trying to do it. Al Heyman, that was the first point of PBC. Remember, at one point in time when PBC first launched, they didn't want the belts to be seen. There was broadcasts where, like, you'll see a WBC official, like, trying to get the belt in camera shot and shit, and then, like, a cameraman waving them off for Sam Watson, like, no, like, the fuck, nah. They've been trying to do it. But yeah, do I believe the sanctioning bodies need to go? If PBC can make their own fucking belt, you know, I'd rather see them have their own fucking belt than to have this fucking alphabet soup shit. Al Heyman has enough fighters to establish his own top 15 in his own divisions. He won't have all the divisions from minimum weight 108 and 105 and all that shit to, you know, heavyweight, but he's got enough divisions where he can start slowly adding shit, you know? It's time. He's got enough fighters. They got to start doing shit. Now, the problem that creates going forward in the future, obviously, is once they lock up their fighters, guys like, well, we already see that PBC fighters cannot fight outside of PBC. They can't. It's been like that. They did everything in their power to get Deontay Wilder to turn down all that fucking money from the zone. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, you know, and right now I believe that Errol Spence is coming back. I believe he's having some real issues, you know. I just feel like that's cool if they want to go ahead and make their own shit. But they better make sure like that hardcore fans are appeased. I'm talking about, I want to see press releases like, you know, we're launching this, you know, our own league. But before we launch our own league, we're going to put the best of the best against everybody else out there. Like, they're fights that they fucking owe us. We're owed fights. And like I said, I want the WBC. The WBC, they was doing real good. This franchise shit, like they fucked themselves. And the WBA, I think they're just being used by Heyman right now. I think the WBA is being used to fucking make those fake belts so fucking Al Heyman fighters can be made champions and then their contracts can get renewed. I think it's some WBA fucking scam shit. That's what I think. I've seen what Al Heyman contracts look like. You know, but either way, I can't stand the WBA. The WBA sickens me, man. The WBA sickens me. So let's get back to, you know, the WBA. You know, I respect the IBF the most, like, for real, because they don't give a fuck Even though they had their little shit, I remember that shit with the FBI shit. But I like the fact that, like, they don't give a fuck who you are. You fucking fight your fucking mandatory or you drop your fucking belt. We're not trying to hear that shit. You know? I think Deontay Wilder can lose to fucking Luis Ortiz. That old motherfucker ain't playing around. You think that motherfucker playing around? This is the best shape I've seen him in. He's got a strength and conditioning coach, a lot of money. It's pay-per-view now. Every single fight for all of these shit.
To this day.
Mills Lane is a degenerate and donate $1 to T Street controversy #SALUT. Casuals don't want to see Wilder, Ortiz, Ju Wilder.
I don't know. You think that's true? I don't know. I'm kind of hyped for the fight. Maybe because today, let me tell you, don't you know I was watching a card on Hennessy Sports, 2 cards on ESPN Plus, a fucking kickboxing card on IFL, and there was another card on. It was did you notice there's no fucking boxing on tonight? Did you notice why? That's why I'm here. It's fucking a Saturday night, baby. But next week, I'm kind of hyped for the fight. I'm kind of hyped. You know, we can do a live. I need to check and see what's on. Something's coming on tonight. I believe it's PBC Fight Camp, episode 3, Wilder versus Ortiz 2. I'm kind of hyped for the main event. I'm not going to lie, because the stakes are high. It's different. You know, we saw what happened to Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder was losing. You know, that fight against Luis Ortiz. And, you know, what if Luis Ortiz don't get caught? You know? It's not a fight where I'm expecting, and I don't think many are expecting for Deontay Wilder to just go give him the nuclear fucking right hand. But one thing about that shit, if it touch you, you be done, man. You be damn near dead. You don't want to get hit by Deontay Wilder and that shit. You see the scar on his fucking hand? It's right. He got like rebar and fucking bionic shit in there, all kind of hoses and pipes and shit.
Long time.
You don't want to get hit by that. God damn it, my bad. God damn it. I was saying, my bad. I was saying that we're getting back to the fucking motherfucking podcast. And it's Chris Mannix interviewing the executive. All right, shit. I know, shit. I know. All right. Fucking degenerates. It's the Chris Mannix interview with Bill Wagner. I love you, man. I love you guys, man. You know, I love you too, Al Heyman. Shit. He's interviewing the executive vice president, the head of programming, the guy who issues the money. The guy who issues the money for PBC fights. He's the guy that Al goes to and say, "Can we make this fight?" This guy said, "Nah, we not putting that on our network. I got to go put together another fight, come back." You know, be like, "How about this one?" But however, I don't know how fucking Iris Lindy Lara and fucking Iris Lindy Lara and Canelo's balding brother got the call, but whatever. Listen in.
Same thing. It does leave you a little bit vulnerable to something new potentially coming along and winding up maybe the way HBO kind of did, and now Showtime is sort of trending in that direction.
Well, we have a contract with the PBC for, you know, a certain number of fights and to be in the premier position. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we're going to have. We're not too worried about, you know, another entity coming in while we're under contract with the PBC.
What does premier position mean?
So basically he's saying we're not worried about Al trying to put or Steven Espinoza trying to get fights. Like, PBC fighters are under our fucking banner. We get the fights. They under contract. It's crazy, right? And it's not a time buy situation. Like, for example, like the writing was on the wall that Deontay Wilder, the next fight after Brazil, wasn't going to be on fucking Showtime. They was like literally promoting Wilder on that platform. I was like, why would they have Wilder like doing this PBC on Fox commentary, PBC on Fox mid-fight sections and sessions and shit. So what happened was, in my theory is that Al Heyman go to Steven Espinoza and say, hey, Steve, like, all right, you want to bring Wilder over? Give us this much. Steven Espinoza looked like, what the fuck? I'm not paying y'all for that. And then like basically priced it out pretty much. Like priced out like Showtime. Like, how did you not see the shit coming? Like, I was like, as soon as I saw Wilder like in the promos for PBC on Fox and fucking, I was like, he's not going back to fucking Showtime. And then they did that press conference with Brazil talking all that loyalty shit. Honest to God truth, I mean, I gotta have Showtime because they fucking cover the fights for you guys. But honest to God, like I don't watch shows on Showtime. I don't watch shows on Showtime. My pop watched some shit on there. I was shocked to see that my pop. What the fuck do he watch? What the fuck is that show he watch? I was shocked because I ain't watched no show on Showtime since fucking Dexter or some shit.
You know, at the end of the day, you get the PBC is to be in the premier position and have the premier package. And so a lot of, you know, who gets what between Fox and Showtime is kind of taken care of.
The fucking Shy, that's his shit. Yeah, that's his shit. This is like some 80s show. He loved all those like 80s, like throwback, like, you know, even though it's not an old show, he loved all that shit. That's that shit he be watching.
In the contract process.
So you have a pretty clear idea now what fighters you're going to be able to work with in 2020.
Yeah, and it's not so much, you know, this fighter is a Fox fighter and this fighter is a Showtime fighter. It's this fight would be on a Fox platform or this fight would be on a Showtime platform.
Do you have any trepidation there about not having guys under sort of Fox contracts? I mean, it's sort of the Al Heyman model. It hasn't always been the boxing model. HBO often had guys signed to contracts. Showtime for a long time, same thing. It does leave you a little bit vulnerable to something new potentially coming along and winding up maybe the way HBO kind of did, and now Showtime is sort of trending in that direction.
Well, we have a contract with the PBC for, you know, a certain number of fights and to be in the premier position. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we're going to have. We're not too worried about, you know, another entity coming in while we're under contract with the PBC.
What does premier position mean?
You know, at the end of the day, we get the best fights and the top stars, and Showtime will have what they're going to have, but you know, Fox will have the best of the best.
So for an example of that, when you look ahead to what people are kind of hoping happens, which is Wilder against Tyson Fury in early part of next year, is you're in.
All right, two more parts, and then we got to move on. But listen to this. He's talking about Wilder versus Fury.
You plan on being part of that?
Well, I'm not really going to comment on Wilder Fury. We have Wilder Luis Ortiz coming up here, and think Wilder has to take care of business there. So I'm not going to get into speculating about, you know, early 2020.
How do you feel in general, though, about working with other networks to put on major pay-per-views?
Well, I think it'll be interesting. You know, it doesn't happen very often. It happened years ago with Showtime and HBO. You know, we haven't started any sort of discussions, and if it comes to fruition, we'll work it through. You know, we work pretty closely with ESPN on other properties. We share a lot of college football packages. So it won't be you know, new territory for us. I think it'll be new territory in the sport of boxing.
So you're, and again, not to put you on the spot on it's been sort of portrayed as it effectively being a done deal with Wilder Fury being on a joint pay-per-view with Fox and ESPN. You're saying that's not...
Well, it's been reported that there is a fight deal for Wilder Fury. There's been no announcement or report that it's Fox and ESPN.
But that fight clearly can't happen unless you two guys get
Yeah,
together.
I mean, because of the relationship that ESPN and Top Rank have with Fury and the relationship that Fox and PBC have with Deontay. Yeah, if it does happen, it would be a co-promotion.
Do you look at...
Now, let's be honest. they really believe, right? Let's be honest. They really believe that Wilder versus Fury 2 can do 2 million pay-per-view buys. Where? How many buys do you think that Wilder versus Ortiz 2 is going to do? Something be wrong. I don't know what these people be thinking when they be coming up with these numbers. And did you notice they always be wrong? They be thinking these pay-per-views going to do these fucking big-ass fucking numbers, yo. Like, I'm thinking 250, 300 because it is heavyweights, you know, and Fox pay-per-views, you know, they're consistent. Yo, illegal streaming is easy as fuck, bro. But it's like, where's the money? Are y'all wait, anybody having any fight parties? You know, fight parties always make numbers go up, even though you have multiple people watching on one still. That goes to show, like, the buzz in a fight. I don't hear nobody talking about this shit. At the same time, people are going to be home getting ready to travel for the holiday here in the States. Are people going to be traveling? Are they going to be using it as like a family thing? Like, you know, Thanksgiving is motherfucking the week, the few days after, 4 days after, 5. It's on November the 23rd. It's all a little weird, you know. Around the holiday season too, that 75 hit different, you know. Fight parties almost every weekend. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, where is it being televised on like in the UK? Is it going to be on Sky? You know, the PBC on ITV thing. That shit they just stopped talking about it. The last thing we're going to talk about is the PBC belts. $250K max. I think it can do that. It's on regular Sky Sports. Y'all sure about that? Because, you know, y'all motherfuckers are degenerates. Like, for real, for real.
You talked a little bit about growing the
Wilder takes care of business in November. There will be a call for a Wilder Ruiz fight, kind of no matter what happens, on December 7th.
You think no matter what happens, they'd still... I mean, look, Andy Ruiz is now the unified heavyweight champion forever. Like, that's... he's definitely going to be able to get a lot of mileage off of that. But if he goes out there...
He's not going to like it. He's going to get it from a real man. Damn woman beaters. We're going to beat that woman beater down.
Roger Castillo has just donated $1 through Super Chat. I hate PPV fights now. I'm really liking DAZN right now.
Did you notice that I can't say on my Fire TV remote the zone and it recognizes it? This bitch can say the zone. Like, she can say the zone. It's crazy. You don't understand. That's a big thing. But yeah, man, thank you. You know what? Thinking about it, like, the zone is kind of the shit. Like, if you really look at it, like, that shit's $20 a month. You know, and already the fact that we got, 3 Canelo fights out of it? Yo, bro. Like, we got 3 Canelo fights out of that, bro. So,
Out. I mean,
yeah, if he gets knocked out, it's a little bit of a different story. But look, I think Andy Ruiz is a up-and-coming star, and people have interest in him either way.
Would it bother you if there's never a Wilder Joshua fight?
You know, if the time is right and Deontay wants to fight Joshua, you know, Deontay's camp, his management will figure out a way how to get it done.
At some point, though, do you have to get bang for your buck with some of these? I mean, look, there's interest in Ortiz. I think he's still, you know, he was only a year removed from being the boogeyman. That fight to happen too. Like, is it a priority for you to kind of facilitate and help make something like that happen?
Well, first of all, regards.
I mean, I'm just looking at the raw numbers.
Yeah, but Deontay Wilder sells out arenas in the United States.
Oh shit! You got to listen to this shit right here. He fucked up big time with this shit. Listen to this shit right here. See if you catch it. Of course you're going to catch it. See if you catch it.
Wants it, and I think his team will get it done. So,
Could you
make the fight?
And how
if it's appropriate?
Isn't it appropriate though? I mean, it's
well. What if he doesn't win?
Oh, if he doesn't win, no. I think Anthony Joshua's career could be over if he doesn't win. Right. But again.
Okay, let's say he wins. Yeah, down the line, there could be a fight.
Could you do? Is it possible, given the different types of services that Fox is and DAZN?
You see how networks are like promoters now? Like networks are promoters themselves. Like they can say like, nah, because they need to be like, the fighters need to be televised. We've heard about networks turning down, especially Espinoza turning down fights. Like, nah, we ain't televising that shit.
Could you work with DAZN to make a fight like that?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially.
You think that's real? That's realistic?
Look, I mean, Deontay Wilder will be is the WBC heavyweight champ. People have to come to him. So when the time is right, the fight can be made.
Okay, I can disagree with that though too. Though, like people have to come to him. Like he's got one piece of the title,
yeah,
no question, and he is a incredibly appealing guy, but doesn't sell a ton of tickets. I mean, comparatively speaking, if Joshua wins the rematch, like he'll still be the unified heavyweight champion who sells out Wembley Stadium and did 20,000 plus at MSG. I mean, I'm just looking at the raw numbers.
Yeah, but Deontay Wilder sells out arenas in the United States all the time.
Which one?
I was at the Staples Center for his
the Fury fight. Okay, I wasn't there for that.
You think Fury was the one selling out the Staples Center?
No, and look,
the Staples Center didn't sell out, did it? No, it didn't. What the fuck? You hear this shit? Like this is an important person right here.
I like Deontay a lot, so I don't.
United States all the time.
Which one?
I was at the Staples Center for his
the Fury fight. Okay, I wasn't there for that.
You think Fury was the one selling out the Staples Center?
No, and look, I like Deontay a lot, so I don't want to make it seem like I don't. But I've also been to Deontay fights at Barclays that have done decent crowds, but not selling out. Like,
well, the last one he sold out the Staples Center. No one knew who Tyson Fury was. So
fair. Well, yeah, I thought Tyson did a pretty good job of promoting that fight.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, I agree with you. However, he is not a well-known name, or he wasn't a well-known name at the time of the fight in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me put it this way then. Would it be something that you'd want to push to have, like, if Joshua wins and Wilder wins, and then Wilder's going to fight Fury, no question. And look, Bill, I'm just asking the questions that everybody wants to, like, everybody's dying to see that fight, just like they're dying to see Crawford and Spence in the same way. Like, they want that fight to happen too. Like, is it a priority for you to kind of facilitate and help make something like that happen?
Well, first of all, regards to Errol, the PBC has a stacked welterweight division, and there are plenty of fights that Errol can have well before he needs to fight Terrence Crawford. And again, if Errol and his team have a desire to fight Terrence Crawford, a deal can be made.
Well, it's stacked, but he already went through the top guy.
Basically, that's already pretty much what we already knew, that, if or when, Errol Spence returns, they like, listen, he can fight all these PBC guys on this side before he fight, Like, I don't never see him fighting Terrence Crawford, honestly. If he does come back, I don't never see him fighting him. Especially when they're going to be forming their own league and shit. You think they're going to let an outsider beat him?
at least Sean Porter, and that he's presumably going to fight Danny Garcia, which is next. We come on. We all know Manny's not going to fight him. Let's all be realistic on that.
Are going to recognize within our broadcast traffic.
I mentioned Terrence Crawford, and not mentioning Terrence Crawford on the broadcast. Really kind of, I don't want to say pretending he doesn't exist, but not putting him front and center as a true top guy in the welterweight division. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I one of the issues with boxing is the alphabet soup of belts. And, when we put up a graphic, we're putting up what we feel are the most important belts. And, to us, that's WBA, WBC, and IBF.
Okay, but you put Pacquiao's secondary title up there, which is not real at all when he fought Thurman. Like that.
Well, it was in a secondary position, so.
I mean, I'm not asking you to become a belt, expert, but I mean, the WBO is no different than WBA is the worst of them all.
Why don't you look up the history of the WBO?
You can look them all. The IBF was raided by the FBI.
I'm not going to say anything about these individual belts, but the traditional belts, the ones that have been around the longest, are the ones that we are going to recognize within our broadcast.
Okay, but if a PBC fight
to this day.
Mills Lane is a degenerate and donated $1 to T Street controversy #SALUT. It was 15,000 Brits at MSG. Wilder da man here.
Yeah, that's a lot of you. That's a lot of fighters from the States. They go over to the UK, get love, but you hear what he's saying. Like, dude don't really know what he's talking about for real. And you can tell Chris Mannix is getting frustrated with him because Chris Mannix, you can tell, just by watching him on the zone, he ain't no casual. He ain't no casual, even though he reported that fake news, though, nigga. We ain't forget about that shit. That fake news about Broner and Tank.
I'm not going to say anything about these individual belts, but the traditional belts, the ones that have been around the longest, are the ones that we are going to recognize within our broadcast.
Okay, but if a PBC fighter gets the WBO belt at some point, you will not recognize that belt.
There is no PBC fighter fighting in the WBO, as far as I know.
They are not. I don't know if they're any ranked or not. I'm not sure how that.
They're not ranked in there.
Not okay. But if it comes to it, let's say, for example, Jamal Charlo fought.
By the way, they are ranked because I do rankings on my website, which is down, by the way. I got a fucking bad plugin now I've been looking for like 3 days now. I got to have my website up by tomorrow. So let's see. I'm going to tell you right now what this is the fucking Fox Sports head of sports in regards to, he handles what fights get made by PBC and what fights don't. Let's go do a little fact check and tell you exactly how many fighters that are PBC that are ranked by the WBO. You have Adam Kownacki. I don't know why he's ranked twice, but yeah, whatever. Let's go to boxing scenes ones. Let's see, boxing scene, y'all rankings up. Where y'all at? Boxing scene? Let's see, where you at? Let's see. I'm going to show you. So yeah, Adam Kownacki, PBC fighter, ranked at heavyweight by the WBO. Let's see here. Your light heavyweight. Nope. 168. Nah, he wouldn't. He don't need to have anybody ranked at 168 by the WBO. But in other divisions, let's see here. 154. You got Jarrett Hurd, number 6. Let's see here. Austin Trout, number 10. Who else? Brian Castano, number 8. Wale Matoso, number 14. They lit at 154. 147, you got Danny Garcia. Mikey Garcia, number 10. So you get where I'm going? The list can go on and on. So this guy, you don't really know what he's talking about. Where we at? He didn't really know what he was talking about. So let's go back so now you can see or listen in better.
Say anything about these individual belts? Well, it was in a secondary position, so.
Good. I mean,
WB belts. And, you know, when we put up a graphic, you know, we're putting up what we feel are the most important.
Something tells me that thing with Trout being ranked has something also to do with his case as well and other PBC fighters. It's a long, complex story, but I'm sure you probably know a sign since you brought that up. Basically, allegedly, Austin Trout was illegally removed from the rankings, and I was covering boxing and the rankings at the time, and I was watching because Austin Trout was fighting on ESPN, like Friday Night Fights, building his way back up. So, long story short, he was removed from the rankings, and his spot was given to Liam Smith. Liam Smith therefore got Canelo, and basically, it pretty much like added fuel to the flame of the beef with Al Heyman in the WBL. So basically, it kind of all started when Peter Quillen dropped his belt, and then the president of the WBO went and tried to rat on him to rest in peace Senator John McCain about the Ali Act and shit. And Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao for the belt, won the championship, but burnt them for their sanctioning fees, pretty much trashed the belt. Like, it's complex. It's a lot of shit. Like, the beef between the WBO and Al Heyman go far. Like, far, far. And the fucked up part about it is, the casualty of it is Peter Quillen never been the same after he dropped that belt.
Belts. And, you know, to us, that's WBA, WBC, and IBF.
okay, but you put Pacquiao's secondary title up there, which is not real at all when he fought Thurman. Like that.
Well, it was in a secondary position, so.
I mean, like, I'm not asking to become a belt, you know.
PBC can't die like that. They can't die because, like, as long as Al Heyman got the fighters, like, he can just put on super fight. Not super fight. Big fight after big fight after big fight after big fight. And remember, PBC and Fox also has Floyd Mayweather in their bag. I don't think Floyd Mayweather ain't going to no fucking Showtime. Rest assured, his next fight, if he comes back, is going to be on Fox. And don't get me started on that shit. I don't even want to mention his name. But yeah, some shit's cooking over there. It's been cooking for quite some time.
Expert, but I mean the WBO is no different than WBA is the worst of them all.
Why don't you look up the history of the WBO?
You can look them up. The IBF was rated by the FBI.
I'm not going to say anything about these individual belts, but the traditional belts, the ones that have been around the longest, are the ones that
Green Dagger has donated $25 to T Street Controversy. Been watching you for years. Thank you for keeping me informed on boxing and keeping me entertained. Cheers from NYC.
That's what's up, man. Scared the shit out of me, bro. That's what's up, Green Dagger from New York City. Yeah, I got some hidden ones. I got more hidden ones, too. So, different amounts. Sometimes they randomize, but yeah, I got different alerts and shit. There's some hidden ones in there. Shout out the Green Dagger.
we are going to recognize within our broadcast.
Okay, but if a PBC fighter gets it.
See, I want to do like a collage or like a moving image of Oscar being a freak. See, that's just a still image. But I wanted to be like dark and gothic because I wanted to pop up on the screen for you to think like, I wonder what Oscar is doing at night. You know? Ew. Can you imagine? Don't get me started.
WBO belt at some point. You will not recognize that belt.
There is no PBC fighter fighting in the WBO, as far as I know.
They are not. I don't know if they're any ranked or not. I'm not sure how that.
They're not ranked in there.
Not okay. But if it comes to it, let's say for example, Jamal Charlo fought Demetrius Andrade. Like that's a WBO title. If he won that, I mean, if guys may not be ranked, but they can win titles if they fight a top tier guy.
I think
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the anti-W. I hate all these sanctioning bodies. I've been on record as saying it numerous times.
You know what we're going to try to do with the PBC, and we're on our way to do this. And as things fall into place, we are going to have a PBC belt and a PBC champion, let's say, of the heavyweight division. So play this out. Andy Ruiz beats Anthony Joshua again, and eventually you have Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder fighting for the PBC heavyweight title. You could do that potentially in the welterweights. You could do that at 154 pounds. You could do that at 168 pounds. So
do you ignore, if that's the case, would all PBC fighters consistently ignore the sanctioning bodies and fight only for PBC belts? Because that's tough. That's tough getting guys. Guys like the hardware, even if it is fake hardware. Like it's
right. Well, the PBC belt would be hardware.
No, right, but not everyone. If there's one, guys love the secondary titles. They pay actual money. There are people paying actual money for franchise championships right now. None of this makes any sense to me.
Yeah.
And again,
There's
this is what
way too many titles.
There's way too many titles, but you did acknowledge the secondary. You acknowledge secondary WBA titles. They make stuff up.
Well, the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF are the traditional belts that people recognize. And so is that what you mean by Pacquiao's secondary?
Well, I disagree that the WBO isn't recognized by.
So, I'm cool. Like, and I don't, they wouldn't do sanctioning fees for like their belt. Like, it would be more organization. For example, the way the UFC works is like, you got to fight somebody in that top 15. There's no jumping around. Or do a review of Pariah. What's that, a documentary? Like, I don't like the WBC on my shit list with that franchise championship. Like, I was really looking forward to them ordering Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. And you know why they did it? The main reason why they did it is because of Canelo, but they can't justify giving Loma the WBC franchise when he was never a WBC champion. Yeah, he don't know about the WBA. He seems to be ignorant when it comes to that, or he don't care. Like, he said they're already on their way. They got their plan. And in my personal opinion, I really think Dana White and Zuffa Boxing is involved in some way. I think they're behind the scenes building all this shit up. Dana White has the experience of running a fucking league. That shit is on the way. And plus, people been acting like Al Heyman been making money. Like, PBC been struggling for some time. Like, they got to start turning a profit. Like, PBC is doing, even though they had some hiccups with some bullshit fights and some fights, fighters pulling out and injuries and shit. For the most part, this is the best PBC has ever been. The most consistent they've ever been. It's a shame he had to lose all that fucking money giving us all those fucking trash fights. Like, remember, they were shoving them shits down our throat. In regards to the zone, I don't feed into none of that bullshit. People talking about they broke and all that shit. They've been fucking planning this shit. Like, they knew they was going to lose money. They came in with the understanding, like, we're going to make a fucking splash. And look, they're fucking 14 months old. That's crazy to me. They did a lot. When it comes to boxing, now, it's unfortunate that, once again, the zone is dealing with the same problem everybody is dealing with. They can't get subscribers. Like, it's hard for them to get, like, real subscribers just for boxing alone. They need other content, and they're trying, and they're coming to Xfinity, by the way. I'm doing some testing for them. That's another 20 million households right there. But the Zone is not a boxing app. They're like trying to use boxing as a springboard into other like shit. Like, I was reading some shit earlier that they were there, they could, get MLB or NFL, one of them, like some Sunday ticket or some shit. One of my partners was telling me. And also, PBC, Like they do, like it depends on how you look at it. No, it won't be with Comcast subscription. It'll be like, I know with my Netflix, it's an extra charge on the cable bill. So it's like how you pay for your cable bill and it's like a pay-per-view charge on there. It'll be like that $20 or whatever they're charging. You know, like it'll be an extra fee on your cable bill every month, I'm guessing. You know? I've never listened to the State of Combat podcast. I heard of it, right? Isn't that Brandon Schwab? I'm not listening to no fucking Brandon Schwab shit. No way. No fucking way. Yeah, I got one $9.99, and I'm not gonna lie, I get the zone free. But I got 2 accounts. And ESPN Plus, Disney, and Hulu bundle. That shit's lit right there. That shit's lit right there. Yeah, it's UFC on right now. But yeah, what was the other topics in the video? I haven't even seen the comments from my Fred video. Oh man, that was glorious, wasn't it? That was pretty. I like that, man. That was fun to let loose. You guys are hilarious, man. You guys are some fucking nutcase degenerates too, for real, for real. Y'all some fucking, like, the lot of you are some fucking degenerates. Like, I be like watching some of the comments and some of the shit y'all be talking about when y'all think I don't be watching. I don't even know you people, man. But yeah, I'm cool with PBC belts, but I've been so this shit coming. And I never thought, like, why do these people keep paying these fucking sanctioning bodies? You're paying them all this money to be their champion. Like, when they can just fuck you over. Like, I think they did Jamal Charlo dirty. I think they did Devin Haney dirty. Like, come on, man. Like, that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's not what it's supposed to be about. Hey, my video can be monetized. My Fred video? Oh, no, it can't. It's too much cussing. My bad, Fred. Damn. So, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off there's no boxing tonight. But then, you know, we roll into 3 big weeks of boxing when we got Wilder Ortiz next week. No, wait. What's November the 30th week? What's that week? Let's see. What we got that week? What we got that week? Oh, shit. Oh, man. I'm trying to figure out what we got the week of the 30th. I think that's that ain't Concio, is it? I know December the 7th is Charlo versus Hogan, Eubank versus Korobov. The 14th is the Terrence Crawford, Iglitas Kavalauskas, Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey, and Colin versus Nikitin card. So next week, pretty busy for me because remember, okay, next week it's Wilder versus Ortiz 2, Leo Santa Cruz versus Miguel Flores, Brandon Figueroa versus Ceja, Nery versus Emmanuel Rodríguez. Also, on the Premier Boxing Champions Facebook and YouTube, you get to see fucking Marcellus Wallace, Deontay Wilder's brother.
I broke my back.
Jesus.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Unbiased heavyweight rankings and news has just donated $1 through Super Chat. Zhang versus Sergey Kuzmin the 30th.
Who the fuck is Unbiased Ranking? Thanks, man. Who the fuck is Zhang? I heard of him before. Let me go check. Who the fuck is Zhang? Hold up. I was looking over here. My bad. I was looking over here. Who the fuck is Zhang? And Sergey Kuzmin, it's a quick turnaround. Is that the fight of the 30th? Is that the fight of the 30th? Damn, I'm so fucking behind. I'm staying in the crib, man. I'm staying in the crib. What was I looking at? The 30th. I'm staying my ass in the crib. So basically next week I'm covering 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cover Deontay Wilder's brother. I'm going to cover Marcellus Wallace versus Dustin Long. Didn't he pop dirty for a PED? Like last year, some shit. I remember that. Was that shit ever cleared up? And what the fuck is Dylan White's B sample? Everywhere I go, we want to see that B sample. We want to see that shit. I don't even know why I want to see it anymore, but I want to see it. You got Colin Smith fighting next week against John Ryder. So I'm covering that fight. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be busy next week. And then you got, at the same time as Wilder versus Ortiz, too, you're going to have Andrew Concio versus Rene Alvarado and Zhu Khan versus Manny Robles. Avery Sparrows, he out of jail. Fresh out of jail. They got fucking Peter Manfredo Jr. headlining a card on UFC Fight Pass. What in the world? I like this. Yeah, the 23rd is going to be busy. And then on the 30th, let's see, you got Oscar Valdez versus Gutierrez. Carl Frampton's fight against Tyler McCreary. That's talk of Carl Frampton fighting Jamel Herring. What? Crazy. I want that. Carlos Adames, I got to check him out. Add him to the rotation. 154-pound contender now. Arnold Barbosa, he's fighting. Who are they building up Arnold Barbosa for? Probably fucking Amiri Imam or somebody. Yeah, so basically we got about 4 weeks, excluding Christmas weekend, of like solid like fights. Solid fights. Did y'all know Guillermo Rigondeaux moving down to 118? It's crazy. Everybody trying to get that little money. George Caballos Jr. is fighting Mickey Bay on Crawford versus Kavalauskas. Caballos Jr. is that's Australian, right? Australian. And there's talk of him fighting Lomachenko in Australia. Elisa Bumgarner, sexy ass. Oh, that's inappropriate. Damn. Well, she signed with King's Promotions. That's the 14th. Yeah, we got some nice fights coming up. It's going to be busy. And the big one, obviously, December the 7th, Joshua versus Ruiz. I got to get ready. I got to get in touch with my partner and the new guy on the team. We're covering Ruiz, Joshua too, from Saudi Arabia. So I got to get that system down and make sure we get that content. We're going to have content from fucking Saudi Arabia, brothers. We're getting fucking content from Saudi Arabia. I just hope he just do the right thing over there, man. I wasn't going to Saudi Arabia. Last thing I need is to get into an adventure in fucking Saudi Arabia. No thanks. Get decapitated or stoned or fucking, what do they do? Cane me? No way. No way. And I hope that's not racism's. Like, no way. I don't want those problems in my life. Yeah, I like that Tony Harrison, Jamel Charlo 2 card. I like that card. And you know what? Tank Davis versus Gamboa starting to grow on me. Tank Davis is fucking fat as shit. Jean Pascal versus Badu Jag. Well, at least we know somebody in that fight probably going to get knocked out. Jean Pascal always come to fight. Clarissa Shields' fight has been rescheduled against Ivana Habazin. So I'm guessing behind the scenes they settled whatever shit with the trainers. That's what's up, man. Like, I was pissed off at that shit. And she seems as though she's humbled up a little bit since then. Like that I'm hoping that she took that as like that was a big ass scare for her, yo. Jesse Hart, Joe Smith, January the 11th in Atlantic City. I talked to Jesse Hart. Damn, I got to get that video out. A few weeks back. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to end this stream because now we're at the mark where I can edit this video and it's going to be 59 minutes long. Perfect. I'm T Street Controversy with FightView360.com. I got to work on my website, so I'm probably going to be putting out this Wilder PBC fight camp. Let's go check it out real quick. I'm going to show you what's going on tonight. If you want some boxing shit to watch. Let's see. Fox Sports Go. You got tonight. Let me see what time it comes on. Wilder let me see. Is it tonight? Wilder versus Ortiz 2. PBC. No, not that one. Where is it at? Hold on, I'm checking. Hold on. Part 3 at 11:30 tonight. You're going to have on regular Fox Sports. Is it on here yet? Oh, it's not. So tonight on regular Fox Sports, you're going to have Wilder versus Ortiz 2 at 11:30 Eastern, PBC Fight Camp. So it's a brand new episode. Episode 3. It says that he's fighting in Atlantic City, New Jersey. No arena yet. Probably going to be Top Rank got something. They got like a thing with that with the where the Revel used to be. They got a thing with that new casino, the Ocean, some shit. Oh, it's probably going to be at Hard Rock. But I'm going to be there January 11th. January the 11th. I hope that's not the day that J-Rock's supposed to be fighting too. I think J-Rock like the 25th or some shit. But yeah, I'm gonna drive out there for that. So, yeah. Yeah, I went to the Boardwalk Hall. I went to Kovalev, Hopkins Kovalev. Oh, that's 2 weeks straight? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that 2 weeks straight. One in Atlantic City, one in Philly. That's going to be rough on me, but we can do that. We can swing that. We got to. Like, that's like, 2 straight fights in the Philly area televised. Like, I got to swing that. So that's my next shit, huh? I'm on the fence if I'm going to go to Charlo versus Hogan, but I'm scared Fred might fly out there. He's on some warpath. So I don't want to be anywhere where he's close to being. Just in case he snap out of some shit. I decided that I'm not going to go to, I'm going to go out there for fight week, likely for the press conference only, but I think I want to be home for Terrence Crawford fight. I really want to watch that shit. I want to enjoy that card. And plus, I don't know what's going on with my daughter, man. I'm likely going to be a full-time father, so I'm probably not going to be able to go anywhere. Like, for real. That's right around the corner. So pray for me, guys. I got a big custody trial coming up. Like, the Monday the 25th. Same day Kovalev go to court for his shit. He might fucking go to jail. It's crazy. But I'm getting up out of here. I'm T-Street Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.